Hello.
Hello there. Is that Lisa Taylor?
Yes, it is. Is this Glossy?
It's Glossy, yeah. How are you?
How are you? I'm doing great.
I'm very good, thank you. All the better for hearing your absolutely wonderful voice, I have to add.
So great to talk to you. I've been excited. It's been a while now. Over a year, I think.
It's been a very long time. In fact, you were Miss Taylor when I last spoke to you. You weren't married yet.
Oh, gosh, that's right. It has been. Wow, it's been almost 2 years then.
That's absolutely right.
I'm married and all kinds of exciting stuff going on. Wow.
It's just absolutely lovely to hear you, and absolutely lovely to be speaking to you again. And like you say, so much exciting stuff has been going on, and we're all ears. We just want to hear all about it. Just kind of sum up the last 2 years in however long you want to take summing it up.
Ooh. You want me to sum up the last 2 years with you guys?
Yes, please, if you would. That would be absolutely wonderful.
Okay. Well, like you said, I got married. That'll be 2 years next month. I can't believe it. Time has flown by so quickly.
Wow.
And just been working on a lot of projects. Kept promoting the Let Love Shine project, which did really well. And thank you so much for your support on that. And you were my first interview.
Wow.
Which I still remember and I'll never forget. And thank you so much. And since then, I've just been working on some different projects. I just released the project that some of your listeners probably have heard, the Blindside Project, a band I'm in here in Santa Cruz,
Yes.
7-piece hip-hop band. And we just released our debut album. And I've also been working on this project coming up here, this Key Jam project with D Magic, which I'm really, really excited about. We've got 2 singles coming out next month. And then we still have a whole separate album that's coming out this summer with 2 more tracks that I wrote the lyrics for on that one, which I'm really excited. That's going really, really well, and it's been really cool collaborating with Dee and just getting to collaborate with people from overseas and just coming together with ideas, and it's just inspiring to have a different take on a project and different inspiration for a project to write for.
Wonderful.
And my next project after that will be, I'm working with a producer in Tokyo. His name's Hideo Kobayashi. And we've already put out a couple of remixes of songs, that Funny Feeling, which was a single off of Let Love Shine. And I'm working with him on a deep house project. So trying to keep pretty busy. Yeah.
Sounds
One day
great.
I'm for a company here in town and just trying to keep busy with music. And I just started going back to school too. So
wonderful. Wonderful. Well, so what are you doing at school then, Lisa? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I absolutely love kids, and one of the very, very few things I've considered doing besides music or in addition to music is teaching. So,
yes,
I'm not getting any younger, and I figure, it doesn't stop me from pursuing my music career at all. And in the meantime, since I don't work during the day, I do music for a living at this point. So I'm just taking classes during the day, and I figure I'll start whittling away at my, I want to get an associate's in, it's an associate's of science, they're calling it, in early childhood education. So maybe one day I'll be able to teach some little ones.
What do you teach? Can I ask you that?
Well, I'm not sure yet. I have to decide. I might continue and do 4 years and become an elementary school teacher, but that's a ways off. But in the meantime, I do have a voice student. I've been teaching voice lessons, and figured that's a good way to start working with kids now and share my love of music and just try to get them excited about music and singing and possibly, what's the word I'm looking for? Pursuing music.
Wonderful.
But I started when I was little, so I figure it's a good time to at least pique their interest in doing it.
I think that's absolutely lovely, and it's also With the vocal training and that, it's also giving a little bit something back, and I think there's always something lovely in giving a little bit of something back,
Definitely. I've had the privilege of working with so many wonderful people and just amazing musicians, and yeah, it's definitely great with the younger generation, especially since music has changed so much since I was a kid, and it's nice to get together with somebody and introduce some new ideas to them. And the cool thing too is that since my student's so much younger than I am, she introduces me to new music, and I go, hey, I really like this tune. So we've added a bunch of songs that we've practiced to my band. So it's pretty nice. It works both ways. I'm learning too.
That sounds absolutely wonderful, and of course we all continuously learning, no matter how much we've learnt already, or whatever age we reach. We're all still at school, so that's a lovely thing to hear.
Definitely.
Yeah. So going back to what you said, because I didn't actually realise at the time when I interviewed you last time that was the first interview you'd done with a UK radio station, and I feel really honoured.
You said what?
I feel really honoured that we were the first I was the first UK radio DJ that you spoke to, and I think that's fantastic. I didn't know that.
That's why I love you guys so much. They're so nice to me, and oh my goodness, I still get a little nervous before these interviews. And that first one, I was just, I was freaking out. I was so excited and nervous, and you were just so sweet and just so kind and understanding, and gosh, I'll never forget that. It kind of was the beginning of all of the really nice things that happened for me with the Let Love Shine album. I wasn't expecting any of that, and just your support and encouragement. And still, now almost 2 years later, it's just been so wonderful. And, as an artist, you feel very vulnerable with what you do, and you never know if people are going to like what you do or not. And to have a lot of positive feedback and just warmth was so nice, and it kept me going. I might have just crawled back under my rock and gone, okay, that's it.
Well,
but, it felt so good, and it kept me going, and it keeps me wanting to do this.
Wonderful. And please keep wanting to do it, because we want you to keep wanting to do it. The album, the Let Love Shine whole experience there was fabulous for us. And, if you just remind our listeners of where you live, because you live somewhere very exotic and beautiful, don't you?
Well, I grew up in Hawaii, and I grew up there, lived there on the Big Island for 24 years, and then I lived in Oahu, which is, you probably think of Waikiki Beach. I lived there for 4 years, and now I live in Santa Cruz, California, which is honestly a lot like home. The water's cold, much colder, but so I'm not getting any of that. They wear wetsuits, and I'm say, okay, you have fun. I'll be sitting on the beach watching. But Santa Cruz is wonderful. It reminds me a lot of home. It's got the same kind of small town feel, and you got the beaches, and it kind of feels like a little island of its own, because we're in a different little area that's kind of secluded, its own little place. So, but I grew up in Hawaii, and hopefully I will get to go home soon. I miss my family, and it's nice to. There are worse places to go visit, to go home, right?
Well, that's absolutely wonderful, and thank you for sharing all of that with us. I wanted to ask you about the Blind Sight project. We've been playing some tunes from that here. In particular, Let Me Go, which is a fabulous tune. Can you tell us a little bit about that project and about the people that you're working with or were working with on that one?
Yes. Well, I had actually, the front man of that band, Mr. Free, the rapper that you hear on there, he was one of the first people I met here when I moved to Santa Cruz. We met just at a mutual friends party, and through talking a little bit, we both realized we were musicians, and so I sang for him there that night, and from there we've always kept in touch and tried to do musical projects, and Blind Sight was amazing because when I started out with Mr. Free, we actually played with tracks with a DJ Kiekelman, who is just amazing. Wonderful. And then that ended up expanding over a few years later. He decided, you know what, I want to start a full band. He had moved overseas. He lived in Japan for a while. And I think he'd just gotten inspired to come back and do something different. And so he brought together just some amazing musicians here in Santa Cruz, all just young musicians that are so good at what they do. And that was such an exciting project just to get together and come up with different ideas. And because we had people in the band that were, you know, a couple from a band here that we had, Samba Da, that played Brazilian music, and then the guitar player was more from a rock background, and the keyboard player is more of a jazz background. And so we just melding all of those sounds and inspirations was just fantastic. And the album is something we're really proud of.
Wow. Well, I mean, that sounds like a whole sort of mixed bag of inspirations and different genres from which each sort of instrumentalist has come, and yourself being such a versatile singer as well. I mean, it's just beautiful to hear all of that. Thank you for sharing it. That's lovely. The name Blind Sight, how did you come to that, or was that something that was already created?
Well, we had to come up with a band name, and I think there were, I think Free came up with that name. And I like it because it's spelled a little different. It makes you think. And Free's one of those guys that's a very creative thinker, and he's a brilliant lyricist, and he's actually a teacher as well. He's, I think, the dean of students at his school up in Oakland. So he's a pretty brilliant guy. He's a math teacher, and his brain works in a very, very cool way. And Blind Sight.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah. as in blind and sight together, it sort of has a different ring. Like you say, it makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. And that's what he really likes to do with his lyrics, kind of make you think. Not so much your just mainstream, you know, money and cars and girls and that kind of thing. He really he comes pretty deep with what he's saying, which is really refreshing, very, very nice. And you know, I have a ton of respect for him and everybody in the band. Just a ton of talent.
That's fabulous. So, is that something that's going to be ongoing, Lisa, or are you done there? What's the plan with Blind Sight?
It's something that will be, I'm sorry?
Ongoing, as in you'll be going back to do more with Blind Sight, or is that project done now? I'm not, I was just sort of trying to ascertain if we're going to see some more than the album that you've done to date, so to speak.
Yeah, I hope so. Right now everybody's involved in a lot of different projects, and a couple of the people in the band, like I mentioned, they play in a band called Samba Da, and they travel all over the world, and they do a lot of shows, and Free's up at school working with the kids, and I'm hoping that maybe this summer we can get together and do some shows, and it just kind of depends on if we can get everybody back together. And I did actually a show with them, over the summer, and that was wonderful to get to see them play again. I wasn't singing in the band because my band was actually playing that evening, but hopefully we'll have something coming up soon where the whole band can reunite and do a show, because it's a slamming band. I mean, and live hip hop, it's just something that's, I mean, I know that there are live hip hop bands, but it's not something that's as common. So I think people are always really happily, pleasantly surprised when we come out and do our thing.
Wonderful. Now, that sounds great. And I wish you were a little bit closer, because I'd love to come and watch you myself. But
oh, man, maybe we can get up there.
Well, this is it. I mean, if you were coming to the UK, it's dead easy, because there's nowhere in the UK that's too far away for us to get to, if you know what I mean. So, being as it's a fairly small island, and, you're used to fairly small islands. So, that's...
Yes, I am.
Yeah, so it's easy for us to get around. And you mentioned about a deep house project that you're looking at working on. And you've done some house stuff as well, because we've had them in here and played them on the breakfast show and thoroughly enjoyed them. Yeah. Tell us all about your house stuff. That would be lovely.
Well, as I mentioned, his name's Hideo Kobayashi, and he's a pretty well-known DJ and producer over in Japan. And actually the fellow that is co-producing and mixing and mastering my new album, the I Love You track and Intuition, and the other tracks that we'll be releasing here soon, he lives in Ibiza, and he's the one that actually introduced us to Hideo. They're friends, and we had gotten together. He contacted me about possibly doing some remixes, and we just really hit it off creatively, and I just loved what he did. And so now he started a new music label called Fuente Music, and he's releasing a project on that label. It's going to be a compilation album with various artists, and so I've written 2 tracks that'll be on that album, and I'm really, really excited about it. It's going to be neat to do something different and release something different, and I have a real love for Asia and Asian culture, and I love Japan. I've been there many times, and I'm really, really excited to release something with a producer from Japan. And we'll hopefully I can get over there and do some shows.
That's absolutely brilliant, and yeah, to go and do some shows as well, that would be fab too. And so many artists now, Lisa, they're not just sort of working with the one band. Back traditionally, you'd get a band and the singing part of that group, and they would work together, and that would be what they do. But nowadays, so many artists are in so many different things, and I think they have to be, because it's a different industry now, isn't it, really?
It is. First of all, just for the artists, just to keep inspired and keep up with, their creative juices flowing. And like you said, it is such a different industry now, and you want to stay in people's minds. Things move so fast. You got Twitter, you got Facebook, SoundCloud, and Instagram, and things kind of, the attention span is dwindling. I know mine is, so I'm guilty of it too. And it's just like that Twitter feed just keeps going. You got to keep up. And it can be a little bit hectic at times, and it can be pretty hard. It is a whole different game than it was.
Yeah.
Even when I moved here 10 years ago, and just, you want to keep in people's consciousness. You want to keep them engaged, you want to keep them guessing and interested in what you're doing. And so on the flip side, it is nice because it keeps you on your toes, and it keeps you going creatively and inspiration wise. But it is a whole different game, like you said.
Absolutely. And can I tell you something though?
Yes.
You do keep our interest. You do keep our interest up very much.
Thank you so much.
Because every now and again, somewhere, either Anna or through the station, we get a new Lisa Taylor tune, and they are just wonderful. And it's an exciting thing. We get loads of tunes, and we love all the tunes we get. But every now and again, we just get one from Lisa Taylor, and we think, wow, that's lovely, and thank you for that.
You guys, like I said, have just been so sweet, and I always make sure that when I release something, I get it to you guys right away. And you guys have been such huge supporters. And even if I send you something that you go, this might not necessarily work with our audience or on our station, I never want you guys to feel obligated to play anything. I just want you to know that, I've released something, and I want you to hear it, and I'd love for you to consider it and see what you think. And, your opinions really mean a lot to me. You guys have been supporters of me from pretty much day one here with this album. And, I appreciate you guys so much. And I hope you guys know that. And I just want to keep you abreast of what's going on. And, even if it's something you just listen to on your off time, or I want you guys to have it. I love you guys.
We love to have it. We love to have it. We feel a bit like extended family when you send us stuff like that, and it's lovely for us to feel that way with an artist. And that brings me to my good friend D Magic. Wow, I nearly fell off my chair when I saw that you and D were doing stuff, and and I sort of saw that before we had any tunes, but then some tunes turned up, and I've been playing High Five. I love High Five. What a tune!
Oh, thank you so much.
I played it this morning on my show. This very morning, I played your tune right there on my show, and you were also on our breakfast rotation with it last week. And Key Jam with Dee and James, and you. Oh wow! I mean, what a tune!
It's been so great hooking up with Dee, and gosh, what a cool opportunity this has been. And he kind of came to me. Gosh, I think it was last year already, and said, hey, he was referred by a friend of ours, Godfrey Fletcher, and he said, hey, I got a friend who's doing a project. Would you be interested? And I said, definitely. Let's, put us in touch. And he sent me some tracks that I really liked, and I loved the kind of old school flavor of them, and just something different than I'd done before. And it's been pretty neat working. We just email each other back and forth. We Skyped, and it's just such a different process than I'm used to, where you're here with somebody kind of one-on-one, or you can just pick up the phone and call them. But it's gone really smoothly, and gosh, I'm really, really happy with what we have. And the Steppers, the Key Jam theme, Lorraine, that was really fun to do.
I love that tune too. That's brilliant too.
Yeah, I mean, it's just good, feel-good music, and it's just nice to put out something that's just, it is what it is. It's to dance to, it's to feel good to, it's to just make you happy, and take you higher. It's just, you just said, hey, if you can think of a hook to put on here. And so I said, well, I'm kind of thinking of this, Take Me High. He's like, I love that. So we just went in the studio and laid it down, and hopefully, I'm hoping that we're trying to possibly turn it into a complete song. So we'll see how that goes, and I'm working on coming up with the rest of the tune. But I know people are really liking it already the way it is. So we'll see what happens.
Well, we're liking it already, that's for sure. And, if there's any chance that you could come to the UK and join Dee to do this stuff on a stage somewhere, that would be absolutely amazing.
I am really hoping. I'm hoping that this might be what turns into the opportunity to come out there and perform. And because Dee also has projects where he works with kids out there and through the education system. And as you know, that's something that I'm so passionate about, and I just love kids. I love working with kids, and gosh, especially if I could come out in that kind of a capacity to come out and perform for the youth and help educate and inspire to do music, that would just be amazing. That would be so cool.
That would be...
Come out and do UK Steppers. UK Steppers.
Well, singing on your interview as well, that's wonderful. I definitely won't stop you from doing that, that's for sure. The future, we talked a little bit about some things coming up in the future, but as a broader perspective, what do you see the future holding for Lisa Taylor?
Oh, wow. Well, I still, as time's gone on, and I'm not getting any younger.
You keep saying that, but you're a lot younger than I am.
But in the music business, boy, it's like a whole different universe of goodness. I mean, you think if you're 25, you're just going over the hill. But you're right. So at this stage of my life, I'll just say I would just love to keep doing things independently. It's so nice to be able to have say in what you're doing and to be able to be creative. And I'd love to get with an indie label and get to the point in my career where I can travel and do shows and do my music and of course, hey, it's not to say if somebody came knocking on my door and, with Warner Brothers or something, and they said, hey, I got a deal for you, I'd say, nah, that's okay. I mean, of course, But I'm not saying that. But, I love the independent movement, and I love that we can do what we feel in our hearts and be creative. And I'd love to keep on this path. And, hey, as long as I can do my music and, heck, if I can make a good living at it and just travel and do my original music, that would be amazing.
That would be amazing for us too. You stay as long as you want to. That's absolutely wonderful.
I come over and just stay in the UK for 6 months and do shows and hang out. That'd be fabulous.
That sounds really cool. That sounds like a must. Actually, I think that needs to happen. That would be lovely. It would be wonderful to see you in the UK, whether it was for one gig or whether it was for 6 months worth of gigs or whatever. It would be just lovely to see you here, that's for sure. And what I'd like you to do is tell our listeners and your fans how to find you on Twitter, find you on Facebook, find you on websites, buy your music. Just tell them all about how to engage with all that is Lisa Taylor worldwide. That would be wonderful.
All right. You can find me on Twitter at Lisa Taylor Music. You can find me on Facebook at Lisa Taylor, or Facebook/Lisa Let Love Shine. And my Facebook page is also just called Lisa Taylor Music. You can find me on Instagram at Lisa Taylor Music. You can find my website at lltmusic.com. That's my initials, Lisa Lehua Taylor, lltmusic.com. And I'm on SoundCloud, Lisa Taylor Music. What else? My new single, I Love You, is on CD Baby right now, and I'm waiting for it to should be on iTunes and Amazon and all the other good sites any day now. So excited to release that. I think that's everything.
That sounds absolutely great. That's fabulous. Thank you.
I'm all over the place.
So, Lisa, I guess the very last thing then, apart from wishing you an absolutely wonderful day and thanking you so much for the time you've spent with Sound Fusion Radio and myself this afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. It's been too long. 2 years is too long. We have to make an arrangement to speak at least once a year, Lisa. I think that's got to happen.
Most definitely. Gosh, I thought it had been like a year. I can't believe it's been that long. Time flies. So definitely sooner next time.
Well, the expression is time flies when you're having fun. So we must have both been having fun. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
That's absolutely great. And the last thing then is, if there's anything I haven't asked you or anything I haven't mentioned that you would like to have been asked or to have mentioned, please feel free to take as long as you want to talk us through it right now.
EP will hopefully be out this year, sometime this year. It's called Intuition, the title track you might have already heard. And Key Jam Project, that's slated for release March 6th. And I'm not sure about the house project yet, but I'll keep you up to date on that. And in the meantime, I'm just writing, and hopefully we'll have some more exciting stuff for you coming soon here. And I just want to thank you, and thank Anna, and thank your listeners so much for all the support. And I couldn't believe how long Let Love Shine went. I mean, I'm still getting emails that I sold a copy. So thank you so much for listening and supporting indie artists. And gosh, it's been wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. And from Anna, she would like to say, Lisa Taylor, you are a blessing to the world.
Oh, Anna. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I'm smiling for you. You guys are so sweet. You guys are wonderful. I love you both.
We love you too, and everything you do. So please keep doing it. And, like I said, let's stay in touch. And, we're here waiting for the next Lisa Taylor tune to drop into the inbox or wherever it may turn up. And we're very pleased that they do turn up. And thank you. And please continue to do it for as long as you possibly can, if not longer than that, please.
I will, most definitely.
Wonderful. That sounds absolutely great. Well, you have a lovely rest of your day. Please say hi to your husband for us and thank
I
him
will.
for parting with you for, well, over 45 minutes now, which is lovely. And, you know, it's just lovely to talk to you about so many things and just catch up. And, you know, it's not an interview. It's just a couple of friends talking, and that's the way it should be, isn't it?
Yep, most definitely. And yes, you guys are definitely friends, and it's nice. I was a lot less nervous than 2 years ago, so come a long way, baby.
Well, I'll let you into a secret. I was nervous too, so there you go. I was
Thank
nervous
you so
too.
much, Flossie, and have a wonderful evening, and you know, say hi to Anna for me, and enjoy your evening. Have a great night of music.
I'll tell you what, how about you say hi to Anna for you and for yourself, and I'll play her the recording. How about that?
Hi, Anna.
That's lovely. Thank you. She'll really appreciate that. I know she will. She always uses the expression. She always uses that expression, hi, a lovely lady, when she's talking to you. And I think that's so beautiful. When I see that in an email that I'm copied in, I just think, oh, that's lovely. Oh, wow. You take care, Lisa. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you very, very soon.
Thank you, Flossie. Thank you so much. It was great to talk to you.
Have a blessed and beautiful evening. Take care.
I'll see you on Twitter.
Will do. See you on Twitter.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.